Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Okay, just follow up on the LA fires. I know it's in LA. Big things happening in America because, Trump's inauguration is happening now and getting all on the go. But it's not that it could happen here. It could happen anywhere. It probably has happened here. The Northern Rivers area of New South Wales was slammed with floods a couple of years ago. Those people were annihilated, and on purpose, for the purpose of the 2030 agenda that the World Economic Forum has in front of them. So those people might not have been burnt down, but they were certainly flooded down. And those people are still struggling, or they probably will not rebuild. Those that are trying are having a lot of difficulty. So don't think that this can't happen to us. It can happen anywhere in the world, because this World Economic Forum and their Build Back Better and their World Depopulation Plan and their 2030 agenda and their sustainable goals, you name it, they've got it, are still on the run. So we just have to keep fighting and keep standing up against it all, and just be aware that if you know of anything happening, come and let us know. But be aware that we have to be watchful for our own area, our own country, because it will happen here. So the LA fires I spoke about last week, just an update on that. 72,000 insurance policies were cancelled a few months before the fires, in a move to justified by the insurance companies as a strategy to avoid financial failure. So they obviously knew something was coming. The companies cancelled the fire insurance, not the people. They were totally blown out of the ballpark with this massive fires that came across their lands. And if the insurance companies had the knowledge that this was going to happen, what would they have done? Cancel the fire policies to save their companies financial failure. 12,000 structures have gone. In these homes, steel safes were melted to the ground. Steel safes were melted to the ground. All of the steel gun safes that people had in their homes were melted to the ground. Steel beams were melted. Trees outside their properties, their homes and that, weren't burnt. They're still standing. How does that happen? We've seen bushfires, we've seen fires, and that is not what happens. Bridges with tar, cement and steel beams melted to the ground. Weeks before the fires, the LA, I spoke about this last Saturday, LA sent much of its fire equipment to Ukraine weeks before the fires. Hundreds of firefighters were fired in Los Angeles. Over 1,000 fire hydrants were stolen. There was no water in them. They were stolen. Where did they go? Why didn't the many cameras, the security, digital surveillance cameras spot who took them? Probably conveniently turned off while it was happening by you-know-who. Because months ago the water was turned off to those fire hydrants, and the mayor supervised the shutting down of the water valve to the hydrants, the mayor of that city. I saw an interview with her too, and she wouldn't answer any of the questions from the reporters or people on the ground. The people that were affected were asking questions of her, and she totally ignored them. There are many canals in the Los Angeles because the Sacramento River overflows and floods. So the canals were built to direct the water to Southern California. The Californian governor cut them off, all of them. All of the canals were cut off about 10 years ago, supposedly because of a tiny fish that used to be caught in buckets and they smelt. That's the reason he gave for closing the canals. Now, Dr. William Mount has the following. He's got a PhD in forestry management, a master's degree in finance, firefighter for many years, army captain, combat engineer battalion, former ambassador to Russia, Dr. William Mount. He states that he has seen the environmental plans and they are as follows. San Francisco is next, then Seattle, Washington, then Chicago next year, New York City, Philadelphia. San Francisco and Seattle will not become smart cities because they want to obliterate those entire populations and turn them back into ecological zones. This is what Dr. William Mount, who has seen the program, has been part of it, is forecasting. So let's watch this space too. That is just disgusting. It is paramount evil, I tell you. It's just all these people losing their lives, their homes, their pets. You know, it's just beyond comprehension sometimes. So Governor Newsom has not called for military aid with all of this happening. He said, let her burn. Let her burn. The California Governor Gavin Newsom, after a blast from Trump for the state's total unpreparedness, he said, let her burn. Hundreds of Marines and 10 Navy helicopters stand ready, but California has not requested help from the Pentagon to fight the raging fires in Los Angeles, according to Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary Sabrina Singh at a Pentagon briefing Friday the 12th of January. So that's a week ago, and I don't think anything's changed. Governor Newsom wants LA to burn to the ground so that BlackRock can rebuild, implementing the 15-minute city strategy that they have had planned all along. And they do have plans for cities in Australia. And Mackay is on that list. We have asked our council over and over, we have it in writing from them that we are not going to be a smart city, but we are on that list. And if you look at the Northern Beaches area, everything's called a hub. That's a World Economic Forum word, the hub. The hub at the Northern Beaches is growing exponentially. It has everything they need to be a city on their own and stay in your city. They can close the road off, people can't get in or out without control. The only thing they really probably don't have out there is a hospital. But it's probably coming. You know, they don't want to put that extra road across to Slade Point to link the Northern Beaches into the city and make the traffic problem a lot easier. That's not going to be done, apparently, because that would be another exit and access point to the 15-minute city that is going to be the Northern Beaches hub. Watch that space too. The council have told us in writing that that's not going to be a smart city, yet Mackay is on that list, and that's probably where it's going to start. Uralee's another one. Watch what they're doing out at Uralee. So, yeah, we're on that list, okay. Anyway, I've also spoke last week about Senator Rennick putting up some information about the geoengineered mosquito that they're going to be releasing into Queensland to try and stop dengue fever and diseases like that. Genetically modified, that's what it was. I couldn't think of the word. Genetically modified mosquito. One of Bill Gates's ideas. Yeah, we all trust him, don't we? We all know what he's about, and why is he still standing? That's all I know. I wonder. Why is he still being listened to? Because our governments are on board with these programs. They are not serving the people. They are serving their masters. And they are on board with these programs, and that's why they're allowing them to happen. What we have to fight all the way, every day you wake up, there's another issue that we have to fight and protest against. So I've actually started a letter to the CEO of the gene company producing that mosquito, or following through with that mosquito. I haven't finished that letter yet. I just want to word it properly, so that's coming, and I'll probably bring it along next week to show you and see what you think. You can do one yourself if you want, as a concerned citizen. And, you know, next week we can talk about that too, once I've got the one I've written. Also, the wondrous Premier of Queensland, David Crisafulli, has handed over the decision-making process to our local government authority, the council, to determine whether or not we are going to be having fluoride put in our water supply. According to the powers that be, all the children in this generation have bad teeth, cavities everywhere, and it's going to be fixed by putting a poison into our water supply. We've fought against this over and over, but it's come up and showed its ugly head again. So that's another one we have to see. And I'm writing a letter also to council about that. I'll read that to you next week so that you can see what we're doing with that. And we'll have a council meeting coming up. I dare say they wouldn't allow us to speak at that, but we'll give it a go. Don't forget the protocol to speak at our local government ordinary meeting. We have to give them 7 days notice to speak. The subject we're speaking on, proof that we've tried to find an answer to that issue elsewhere, and that it is a responsibility of council, and then they will decide whether we're allowed to speak on the 3-minute public participation time or not. So there you go. That's another form of control that the government's bodies have over us, have put on us. They don't have it over us, but they've put on us. So, it just never stops. But anyway, that's about all I've got for today. Kim will be here shortly. But while we're waiting for Kim, I'd like to invite Liz to come up.